education thing came about again by chance. Alchemia had decided to develop and run a live sound diploma, and they asked me if I would teach part-time on it 3 days a week. Then I started getting involved in the development and the setup of the course along with various other people, and all of a sudden that just turned into a full-time job. So once I realised that I was going to be involved with that full-time, I just threw everything at it. I decided that was going to be the thing that I was going to do now, and I was going to do it to the best of my abilities. And I think we actually, between me and the people that were on board with me, who are now the same people who are on board with Soulsound, we just created an absolutely amazing course, and I loved it. And it was wonderful to be able to mould people, to be able to take, God forbid I use the word, but to take youngsters and help people shape their lives and give them something to aspire to, and show them what the bar is. Say this isn't good enough. This is where you need to be aiming for. And really, I think we set the bar very high, and we also got fantastic results from people because of it. They actually excelled. We gave people the chance to be better, and they were. That was the amazing thing about it. And I think something that's hugely missing in education is expectations. So I've always striven for very high standards and pursued that with all my students, and tried to show them where the level is that they're aiming for, whether that be through the examples that we set ourselves, through literature, through taking people out to gigs and going, that's what you're aiming for. We used to take our students on field trips and go, this is the standard. This is the standard that you need to strive for. Education in the audio industry is quite recent. Previous, up until about 10, 15 years ago, maybe 20 at the most, the BBC was it. That was where you learnt your craft. And if you weren't at the BBC, you didn't learn. Or you'd go and work in a warehouse and make tea, but you had to start that when you were quite young and malleable. So this education side is quite a new thing. But just showing people in classrooms and with a tiny little bit of practicality, it's not enough. What we do is a very, very, very practical subject. And if you don't actually physically go and do it, you don't know how to do it. So learning about it and writing about it and spending 3 years at university, well, actually in 3 years you actually only spend, 6 months a year, 18 months of the 3 years actually at university. So you're spending so much time not practicing your craft because you're either on holiday or you're writing about it or you're doing some other thing that's expected for a university education. You're not actually learning to do the job, and my emphasis has always been on doing it. I want people to be employable, I want people to be confident, and I want people to be able to go out there and present themselves correctly in a way that's going to help people actually want to employ them. So that's always been my emphasis from the start. It's my emphasis when I was teaching live at college, and it is also now my emphasis with Soulsound, is how do we take people to the next level? How do we supplement their educations? And, all other industries, or most other industries, there's a continual, because people have actual jobs, there's this notion of continuous professional development. Now, in our industry, where everybody's a freelancer, that kind of continuous professional development isn't necessarily available so easily. I mean, manufacturers obviously train on their products when they're bringing something new out, but it's very difficult to find the time or find the resources sometimes to go and do a weekend course, and a lot of the weekend courses are also aimed at, tend to be aimed at people starting out. There's not that much around for people who are just wanting to be reminded of other techniques or learn something new for the day. I was speaking to an ex-student the other day who lives in Oman, and he was saying that he hasn't learned anything new since college, and that was 3 years ago. He's just practiced what he knows, and he's getting very good, but he hasn't had any new influences in his life so far. And I think that's quite important in any career, not just sound, that you continuously have other influences that can help you progress. John Lunsden was a huge inspiration to me. He, at the time, was the principal of Alchemia College, and as odd a character and as strange a character as he was, I just found him fascinating. He was a man who could talk to machines, and you ended up talking to the machines yourself. I thought he was an amazing character, and he really inspired me to really delve into the depths of how everything worked. And then Paul Epworth. I mean, how can you not be inspired by a man like that? He was my first boss in the audio world, and he was great. We had an amazing time working together. We had a little studio that was attached to 93 Feet East at the time, and we do some recordings in there. We were trying to get his band Lomax off the ground, and of course then we had the amazing venue with 3 different rooms. So between us we ran the place, and quite quickly he kind of left it to me, really, which I'm very grateful for in the end. So, but he taught me everything that I knew about live sound. He was absolutely fantastic. What a great engineer! Honest, he deserves every accolade that he gets at the moment. I think he's a very inspiring human being. And then through 93 Feet East, they had a Function One PA, and they've always talked about. Paul always used to talk about Tony Andrews, and I never really knew who Tony Andrews was. But after a while, I decided that I wanted to meet these people. I wanted to meet Tony, and I wanted to meet the whole Function One team. So I kind of made a point of finding people who would take me out there and take me and introduce me. So I did get introduced probably in about 2002, somewhere around there. But that was the start of a great relationship, and I, have always loved their PAs. Between Tony, John and Anne are 3 of my favourite people and the most inspirational people on earth. I love everything that they do, and I love the way they engage. They became so involved with my education projects. They're involved with Soulsound now. They have been immensely inspiring, and just having their support means absolutely everything, really. 3 other people who have immensely influenced me and who I admire tremendously are, of course, Marcel, Justin and John. And that's why I've put them together in a team, and gone out of my way to make sure that I keep them around me, because they inspire me tremendously.